I think the first step in a home buying process is the decision to actually buy a house, and start the process of saving, because I saw on a website last night, the house was $494,000, and they had the mortgage payment at about $2,000 and I'm like, "It doesn't seem right here." Typical catchphrase, advertising. They left out the fact that it was a $94,000 down payment, 20% down, and no CMHC financing insurance on it.
Mhm.
So, what does it when a consumer just says, I wanna buy a house, it's time for me to get into the market. The first thing I gotta start doing is saving money for down payment, closing costs,
Yes.
et cetera.
100%.
Before they even get to talking to a mortgage agent
Or a realtor.
or a realtor, they've gotta start saving. What's the best avenue for them to start saving?
Well, I think you've gotta be aware of where your money's going. This was one of the things that we did. I say myself, my wife and I, um, we had known that we wanted to buy a house at some point, so in our early to mid-20s, we started budgeting. It was something that I was never used to. I remember I had my first job, and it was a research contract that gave me the same paycheck every 2 weeks. A couple weeks in, you're like, "Where's my money gone?" My wife's like, "You gotta start budgeting. Let's figure this out." Anyways, we start saving up some money, and we didn't know how much we would need. And we were actually living up north at the time. We're saving some cash, and it was like, "Okay, let's go look and see if we wanna buy a house. How much do we need?" Because we had heard, maybe you need this much, maybe you need that much. And, we said, "Let's just go have a conversation with the bank, see what our situation looks like, how close are we, and if we're not there yet."
What do we gotta do?
Yeah, it gives you sort of a benchmark
Yeah.
to say, "Okay, you've saved up $2,000 maybe.
Yep.
Is that enough?" You can go sit down with a broker, a bank, or whatever, and they'll tell you, maybe you need 25,000.
Yep. The key is everybody's situation is different as well.
Tremendously
Mhm.
different.
And I think people think that there's a cookie cutter answer to this.
No, and I always say that I've had individuals who work at the same company with the same job, the same like education, same industry, same job, and they had very different situations when it came to buying their house. One was buying on his own, the other she was buying with a partner. All these things come into play. One's got student loans, one doesn't, and
It's a big picture conversation.
huge.
Yeah.
Because there are so many different variables that you've got to look at. One of them being student loans, one
Yeah.
of them being um,
Especially for younger first-time home buyers, student loan seems to be the one thing that, uh, people don't take into consideration because they're so long-term debts as well, right? Like,
yeah, and I think
I mean, that could be gone by the wayside with the Ford government getting, clawing OSAP back big time, but
yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but what I'm getting at is I think the long-term effects of those student loans wasn't maybe made as clear.
yeah. But sometimes, and in fairness to most people, there are times where, the only way you can go to school
10 out of
is
10
to do
agree
it,
with you.
right?
Eh,
So it's not something to be, worried about or
yeah,
embarrassed or anything like that.
no,
It's
I have
just a
them.
fact of life
You had
that,
them.
yeah, I had them, and
Everybody's got them. Like,
yeah,
and I say everybody, majority of people have a student loan.
yeah, yeah.
And in many cases, it gets you to where you need to go. It gets you, maybe you're a doctor, you took on $140,000, right? Maybe you're making X amount more and it doesn't,
Yeah,
it all comes out in the wash.
it offsets and washes itself out, I agree.
But I guess to circle back to your first question is you have to have made the decision mentally that you're gonna be prepared to save money, right? So whether that is you are putting X amount of money, X amount of dollars away each month, or what I've heard some folks do is they start living as if they already have a payment, right? Like if they're living at home,
Yep.
which is like a superpower if you can do it,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Bless you.
If you can live at home while you're saving up some cash, you will be stockpiling money at an exponential rate,
Yeah.
right? You'll just be putting, especially if you have like, if you've graduated and you have like an adult job, your first real job, you're making, anywhere from 40 to $60,000 a year, and you're still living under mom and dad's roof. Pretend you've got a rent payment. Start putting away 1,800 bucks, 1,500, even $1,000.
You
Heck,
put
even 500.
$1,000 away for 2 years, you've pretty much come close to having enough money to buy a $400,000 house.
Right, and then if you add in, a partner, it all of a sudden goes that much further. So what I'm getting at is you have to make the mental decision quite a bit ahead of time
Yeah.
to start saving your money.